All right. All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name is Bison, aka Bison Trades, over on Twitter. Welcome back to another episode of RareFUD Radio. We missed you guys. We hope you had a fantastic 4th of July if you were celebrating, otherwise known as America's the Best Day. And just happy to be here. We're jumping into it today with Max from Sniper, formerly known as SolSniper, but good friend of ours. We met him multiple times. I talk with Max all the time, but jumping on today to talk about Sniper and what they got cooking up. They rebranded. They got a CLOB now. If you haven't used their Sniper bot before, it's like one of my favorite things in the world, being able to snipe anything that hits the market that is a rare trait that maybe somebody floored or anything like that. It's helped me out multiple times. It's made me a lot of money, or at least gotten me the collectible or NFT that I want. So I'm excited. I'm excited to talk about everything they got cooking up over there. But join with me as always, my wonderful co-host, my brother in content, Mr. Door. Door, how we doing today, man?
Yo, what's going on, dog? Every day's a holiday. Happy to be back after America's Day. Feeling good. I hung out with some British friends here in Mexico, and I didn't let them live it down, dog. I'm like, oh, you guys had to work today? Sucks to be you.
No, you're good. That's you have to show them the scoreboard. We kind of had to help them in World War II as
exactly,
well.
Man.
I mean, like,
exactly.
Shoot, they owe us. At this point,
they do.
And we got the numbers on them. But I'm excited to jump into it today. And of course, we got our other wonderful co-host, the new OMB himself, Mr. JoeSol. Joe, how we living?
America.
You'd love to see it.
Okay, I'm back. Anyways, boys, it was a nice week off. I hope you guys enjoyed your 4th as well. Enjoyed our time away from the screens. Excited to jump into it with Max today. But before we do, we got to jump into what's going on in the market. There's a news flash for you. I can summarize it very quickly for you. Nothing's really going on in the market right now. It's kind of sad to me, and I'm not sure why, but we've had a lot of good mints lately. We had Bodogos, Bad Environment, SMB, obviously, and most of them didn't really do as well as I thought they were going to. And we can jump into it. Now, I think some of these are more of like a slow cook. I think there was misinformation with Bad Environment. I think there was, Bodogos. I think a lot of people were expecting something out of the gates with them. And, we're just Sol MFers that people just don't give people the time and space.
No, not at all, dog. It's like every 2 seconds. It's like if you're not constantly launching something to pump bags, people on Sol start flooring. And it's really unfortunate because now that I have a little exposure to other chains, specifically OMB, it's a completely different environment where people are more bullish the less time the ZK talks. The less ZK talks, the more people get and the more they want to buy.
Yeah. Well, and we'll definitely talk about OMB too, because that's the other one that did well. It did really well. And then, cooked all the way up to 0.45 or something like that. And then is now retracing. Mm-hmm. I want one. I want one really badly. I know Joe's going for a second. I know Door's got his bags already packed because he's smart and gigabrain, and this is why you listen to the show. But over on the Sol side of things, it's kind of meh. I mean, it's not like bad or anything like that. I don't think it's terrible, but it's just like one of those points in the market we're just all bored, dude. Like we ran up to according to SolSniper, if everybody wants to follow in with us or anything like that. Looking at the buyer side of things, thank you. Had to scroll down. We ran up at the end of June to like 5,000 buyers. It started looking good, 5,500 buyers. And now we're kind of getting to the point again where it feels like buyers are exhausted. We had a good amount on July 1st at 4,400. And then we're now looking at it. July 6th, we have 2,972 buyers, and that's not great. It's not great. So when you start seeing that buy pressure come in, you're like, okay, we're gonna start having momentum. There's the mints to back it up, and I think a lot of people are just expecting too much out of people. So I don't know. I think there will be like a time. Obviously, Bodogos. Fading easy at this point. Let the man cook. Let him do his thing. S&B performed as expected, right on the money. I said 40 Sol was going to be about the point. If you got in below 40, that's a good point. Got in above 40, that'd probably be when I'd sell. I already sold my barrel. I got it in pretty cheap. I only sold it for a couple Sol profit. I
sold all 4 of my barrels.
What? Oh man, Mr. S&B himself sold his barrels. But I think that's a smart play because here's what's gonna happen is you're gonna want to go with the post reveal. I don't think everybody's like, oh, I'm gonna game it this way. I have not seen any news of an Explorer with the barrels, so I don't know if there's going to be an Explorer. Like you're able to do the Gen 3 generations and stuff and kind of see what traits you want. But if I don't see an Explorer, there's not going to be any way for people to measure the game gamification, right? Like, oh, there's still, like 6 Skellies left, and that's like huge for me. Oh, there's still like 18 aliens left, and I'm trying to gun for that. If they can't see what's left to be minted in a very easy, digestible way, I don't think the barrels are going to be as much of a cook as tubes were. I could be wrong. There could be something, but they're already having to push back the breaking of barrels to Friday because there was that suspected, Metaplex. You might be able to line up, what barrel is going to yield what monkey, and there's some FUD over there. But I think I'm just grabbing on secondary. I'll grab one on secondary. I'll grab a floor. I don't care at this point in the market. I don't want rares. I don't want rares unless. I don't want to touch them. So yeah, guys, what are your thoughts on the market? I mean, we can go through all the numbers and everything like that. We're sitting at like 45,000 Solana volume, which not great, Bob, but it's just man right now. So what are your guys' thoughts on the market? Where are we going from here? Let's go with Door first and then Joe.
Yeah, dog. I completely agree with your sentiment on on S&B, dude. I wasn't holding barrels, dog. I got my Gen 2. No point in me holding barrels. Now that I'm bearish on S&B, is just like, why? What? I don't see, like, I don't need them. If I want a certain monkey, I'll just pick it up on secondary after the whole shenanigans goes on with the barrel breaking. So I don't see any point on holding on to those. I sold my 4 barrels between 38 and 40. So not the exact top, I don't think, but, close enough to it. And then I rotated that liquidity into Bodalgos because those are going to send. I'm like, right now, people are fading easy. I got 20 Bodalgos. If it drops more, I'll probably pick up 10 more. But it's hard for me not to see these hitting double digits. And as you hit earlier, B, you're just like, it's the Solana folks, man. Unless something's like released every day, then guess what? The price is not going to pump. Right now, and I think Easy knows what he's doing. Easy knows how to time the market. So as soon as conditions are right, or as soon as Easy feels like he's ready to release something, these are going to send. It's once again, backing solid founders, you can rarely go wrong. It's not rocket science. You just need a little patience. Like for me, I'm down 20 SOL for my entry on my Bodalgos, but it's good because these things are going to send. So I'm not even worried about it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm right there with you. Bodalgos to me probably the safest play. And I want to knock on wood. And again, this is not financial advice, y'all. Please do your own research. Like, we're just bozos trading JPEGs on the internet. But Bodalgos feels like the safest place to me, or safest play for me. Yep. I think
safer than barrels, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I think upside too.
I think barrels will be the most stable play.
Yes.
At that point, like, why wouldn't you just put your money onto a like Marinade or something like that? Do some liquid staking, do some liquid staking degen stuff, but or just throw it into a validator. But I think the thing I'm most excited for, because there's so much misinformation out there, is actually bad environment. And the reason being is because we're looking at like it's like 1.2 SOL or something the last time I checked for a blue pill. I was lucky. I got 6 pre-sale, which I was always going to support. Like at 1.75 a pop, like, dude, it's a no-brainer. You know what I mean? Like what?
I got 20 pre-sale.
Well, hopefully you got some golds in there. I got 1 gold.
I got 3 gold.
Oh, well, there you go. Yeah, the gold's kind of make up for everything else. But I got 2 reds, and then the rest, like, I just put on a floor bid for blues at like 1.1, and that got like 7 sold into me. So for me, it's just kind of a no-brainer. Like, what's my risk here?
Low downside.
Yeah, it's such low downside, and I think this is a price point that a lot of people can get excited once it becomes more digestible what the information is. But Joe, haven't heard from you, my man. How's OMB life? How's life in general? What are you looking at?
Yeah, man, life. Blessings come in parables. They teach you lessons. You gotta stumble sometimes. I had the pup. Some other stuff with the family, but I've also had the best month of my life trading in the past month. Believe it or not, in the bear, I've made Buko just by trading Sol, BTC, and ETH and the pairings in between each other. Posted on the timeline for everybody like a week and a half ago that I was going hard into Sol from BTC and ETH longs. And then I doubled down around the second, all in the timeline, and it's just cooking right now. So I'm blessed, to be honest. NFTs, I hold what I care about and the people I care about right now. I'm not looking to make any type of money in NFTs because just not the type of the market, right? People are forgetting that NFTs are used to be compounded when we have sideways or downwards market movement in the underlying asset. After that, it's hard for them to maintain any really liquidity to make money on because no one's there for it. That liquidity is rushing in to grasp that compounding effect. But yeah, so it's been a good market, and I'm excited to talk to Max about this CLOB because this thing is next level, and it can take what I'm talking about to the next level, right? The lack of liquidity and the lack of the market participants. This can really help that us return to a mean of a good stature. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I used it. I was the last time I checked, I was like number 4 on this Bodalgos trading competition, but let's see what I am now. Yeah, I'm still number 4. Okay, we're good. Oh, I got somebody right on my tail though. But yeah, I mean, like, look, this is real rewards. I love that Sniper, came in with a game plan, and I think their way of executing is different, and I think there's going to be 2 different ways of executing in this market, and
Mhm.
this is a viable strategy to me. So I do have questions, so we're definitely going to be talking to him. Before we do we have anything else we want to talk about? OMB went up to 0.45, retraced back to 0.3. I think this is a clear as day buy. This is, to me, the last dip before, like, at this point, it's so stupid seeing people fade ZK. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. This man has already proved that he can get a collection up to 4 Bitcoin. Now, I don't think it's going to go to 4 with, that size of everything, but I've heard some whispers and some rumors that it may not remain as big of a collection as it is right now. And so if that happens, and we know how degens like to degen, when you see any sort of mechanic that may lessen the supply, then I wouldn't doubt it. I'm just saying I wouldn't doubt it, but I think it's unlikely. We're getting back up to like 4 Bitcoin. I think those are only reserved for red and blues that, are highly sought after. But I digress. Everything else, I would be holding ETH spot. ETH is going through its, over leveraged NFT cycle. Like, I don't know if you guys have seen, it's dog water over there.
It's bad over there. Your boy picked up a Azuki and floored an Azuki real quick. Azuki Elemental, man. That shit, like, I was on the space with listening to him. I'm like, and I started watching the charts at the same time as they were talking. And I'm like, oh no. The more they talk, the worse those charts got, dog. I like, your boy's out.
Yeah. It was, I mean, look, it was a high risk play, but if it panned out, like, it worked. And I just think, I just don't know how they could be so tone deaf over there. Like, that was, you completely missed them. You literally re-released that. And some of them look fire, though. I got to say, I just love the Azuki art in general. But just because you love your original art, like, you did beans. Beans were cool. Beans were something completely different and stuff. But
dude, they could have fixed it with a classy watermark or something that was like just there enough to discern from the two, but it didn't have to go. Like, if they wanted to give you an entry to the Azuki art, like, you love it, why not have an Azuki PFP? You don't need to change the PFP, but give it a reason. Like, I know they're going for background changes now, but a little watermark would have been nice.
Yeah. I get it. I think they're trying to do something with the backgrounds, or, like, I don't know if you guys saw the voting thing, but, like, the elementals will have a background and it may relate to the element that they are. Personally, if I look at that, I'm like, what's the fucking point of the OG collection? Like, I'm like, the elementals look cooler. You gotta give them a cooler background.
In my opinion, man, I was like, man, those backgrounds are sick.
Yep, exactly. So, all right, enough talking about ETH. Let ETH be ETH. They're going through their, over leverage cycle. We've been there. We've done that. Let's bring on today's guest. Let's bring on Max from Sniper, formerly known as SolSniper, talking about what was data analytics and charting, and I used it. Look, I am one of the OG SolSniper stands. Now completely transformed. Now you can list from there. Now you can place bids from there. They are syndicated. We're going to talk about it all with our guy, Max. Max, welcome to RareFUD. How you doing today, man?
I'm doing great. It's really, it's cool to be here. I'm a big fan of the show. We've all met a couple times IRL, and you guys are the homies, and love to support you guys, and really appreciate everything you guys have done to support us at Sniper, formerly SolSniper. I'd love to get into it. How do you guys want to get started?
Yeah, first off, let's dive into the background. For those that don't know, we started RareFUD on my channel. It used to be on Bison Trades. We did the first episode. I think we did almost 20 episodes over there or something like that, and switched over to RareFUD. But before I was even doing that, I was solo streaming, and then I also did a few informational videos on NFTs. One of the first videos I did was 3 tools you needed for success in Solana NFTs, and I would say that my number one, still to this day, was SolSniper. And I was a stan from the get-go. It's how Salami Mommy and I, now Mommy, you guys just taking soul out of everything, which is fine. I get it. I totally get it. That's why I didn't put it in my name to begin with. But yeah, it's how we got connected. And then, you and I got connected, and then the rest of the team got connected. But you guys have always had what I considered just the best insights into the NFT market. And it blew my mind that was free. And then I found your Sniper bot, and now you have a CLOB. So let's talk about the history. When did you guys start SolSniper? And what features did you have, at the get-go? Like what propelled you to say, you know what, we're dropping everything. This is our new baby.
Yeah, dude. So it's pretty cool story. I was actually trading Solana NFTs just like everybody else here. It was during so I got in around November 2021, right?
Oh,
So I was a software engineer at Amazon. I was kind of bored with my job, and I was like, I need to make some more money on the side. And so I couldn't afford Ethereum because it was like $100 a transaction.
yeah, dog.
And I was like, bro,
At least, man, you're being generous on those.
Yeah,
things.
back
I was
then
like,
too.
Back then, dog.
no way. I was like, there's no way I have money for that. But I really want to get into NFTs. I heard you can make money. It looks really fun and cool. And so that's how I landed on Sol. And I was first trading on like SolC, and I'd wait like 2 weeks for my little like Solana football player to sell. And then I kind of moved on to Magic Eden. And then, this was all kind of happening in the Sol Trades channel. So originally this was the channel in Easy's Nifty portal Discord. And we were just all like degenning in there. One of the big ones for me was like Necoverse. I like to this day, my alarm still says Necoverse because that was one I had to like wake up early for to mint. And then there was this kind of meta where like these like NFTs were like dropping like tools, right?
Yeah.
And I was kind of like, oh, this is sick. Like, I'm gonna buy it. Like, I'm a software engineer. I love like tools. And like what I started realizing was like these were like actually rugs. Like these devs were making like 200K off the mint, right? And then I was like, wait a minute, like this is actually not that hard to build. And so it was like how it's originally started was like it was just kind of a like prove to myself that like this isn't that fucking hard to build. Like I can do it too. And like as kind of like a middle finger, like I'm just gonna do it for free. And so that was really how I got started. And it was just all it was it just charted price history, right? And it was just one of those things where like at the time, right, trading NFTs it just felt fast on Solana, but you could never see the price. So you'd have to like go ask someone. So that's really how we got started. I pulled an all-nighter on Christmas Day. I was like, my girlfriend was like, come like make Christmas dinner with me. And I was like, nah, I'm gonna try to build this little app. And then we shipped it the next morning. And then next thing I knew, we started getting a lot of users, like people actually like bitching every day about like, this is wrong, this is broken. I was like, guys, this is a fucking free tool that I made like for shits. But then it was fun enough that I somehow convinced some of my other friends who were also software engineers at Amazon to quit their jobs eventually and to work on this full time with me. We've been venture backed, and we like really enjoy building this product. And so it's really grown from being kind of this tool to then in this last year, we became an aggregator, and we were doing like thousands of SOL of daily volume. And then we're like, okay, like, I guess the next step in the evolution is like, why not be a marketplace, and why not try to kind of innovate really hard on the protocol layer, which is kind of what we've launched over the past 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yes.
Real quick, thanks for sharing the backstory, Max. It's like for those individuals who weren't into NFTs, like during that first wave, dog, it was like unknown without charts. I think Mr. Bot or Mr. Robot or something was like one of the first things that did charting, and they were far from perfect, but it was like, at least it's something, man. And then I remember when SolSniper first came out, man, it just changed the game completely. You're like able to watch mints live and then look at price history of NFT projects. It was just like mind blowing, man. People take charts for granted now, but yeah, dude. So I've been using SolSniper for a while now.
That's awesome.
Yeah, same. Believe me, as soon as I found SolSniper, I was like, this is exactly what I want out of a data analytics tool, because it wasn't just charts, and I love them. You know, Joe and I are big TA guys. We have a lot of people in the NFT community that are TA guys. But even if you're not, if you don't believe that TA is, astrology for men, which I hear often these days, it's still like it's good to see price history. Like it's just always good to be like, okay, you can draw a horizontal line and see exactly like this is usually when it sells off, or this is usually a good time to buy. If you just do that, you have an infinite amount of edge over the rest of the market that a lot of people just don't realize. And you can usually glean that from 2 minutes on a chart, maybe, if that. And so, yeah, it just made me a much more profitable trader. And then you guys started coming out with features left and right, the market overview with the Sniper 50 and Sniper 500, where I can get a quick at a glance, what's the health of the ecosystem? How many buyers do we have? How many sellers do we have? How many, like what's the volume for today? What can we do as far as, like looking at the top 50 or the Sniper 50 and seeing, okay, what's green on the day? What's red on the day? Do I want to buy some blood today, or should I sell while it's high? And I get to do all that in 5 minutes. I can literally look at everything in 5 minutes. So you guys continue to crush on the data side, but wait, there's more. You walk me through your Sniper bot, because that's probably one of my favorite features. And then we'll get into my other one that I found out afterwards, probably around the time of Lily. But walk me through Sniper bot. Like you guys offer this where it used to be like, I cannot remember how many bots that were like 50 Sol plus. And this was when Sol was like $100 plus. And you guys just offered it pretty much for free to anyone who was an OG user and registered your wallet with you guys.
Matt, if you want to display, like actually do a demo, you can do that too. So just give you that option. Yes.
Oh, really? I think maybe like we could, maybe I could just talk about it a little bit first.
And then just want to put it out
there. Yeah, for sure. But just in terms of like the Sniper bot, like part of the inspiration was that like basically like when we kind of first came out with charts, and then we kind of like started adding like buying, right? Like the way we always kind of saw this market was that it's going to get more efficient, not less efficient. Like if you're trying to like fight against like market being more efficient, you're gonna lose. And so actually like kind of us introducing the Sniper bot, we didn't brand it as the Sniper bot at first. We actually called it limit orders because that's what we believed it was. And it was so we were actually the first firm to have a collection bid basically on Solana. So that not many people know that, but that's really all it was, is we made collection offers. And that was basically, we called it limit orders. And we really liked the idea that, hey, this will automatically execute against any listing anywhere below or at that price. And so from there, we kind of expanded it to a bit more to where like, oh, you can make limit orders in the chart, which is kind of cool. Like it's like, oh, I see this support or resistance zone. I want to put a limit order here. And then we also expanded it to do traits and rarities. So then you could snipe by your trait and you could snipe by rarity. So it's like, oh, like for 20 Sol, I'll buy a Bodago that's a mythic or whatever. And then lastly, we also added the ability to have like orders that are like one after the other, like compound orders. So you can actually set a buy price and then you can set an auto relist price, and it'll buy it for you at that price and automatically relist it for you at a higher price. And so that was really where we were like, really thinking about how can we innovate and how can we like actually take some of what we see in terms of like traditional finance and like crypto and like actually translate that to the NFT market. Yeah, and it's great too. You guys were the first ones with collection bids, and it's like I'm telling you, I told everybody in the video, I have receipts of it, that if you're not using SolSniper, and it's not just for charts, there's so many other features that you guys have that just made my life infinitely easier. You guys kind of moved the market too. Like it was, once you guys did that, everybody else started catching on, where it's like, oh, well, we kind of need collection bids as well. And a lot of people had issues with AMMs at first. We had Hades Swap come in, especially with the advent of YA and 0% royalties, where people were frustrated, and it was mainly because Sol was going down. We were losing liquidity, and people wanted to point fingers at like stuff like collection bids. And I'm like, okay, well, let's separate out AMMs and collection bids, because I think
completely different things, man.
Yeah, I think that is completely, especially when originally there were some AMM pools that didn't have like a delta on them. So a lot of people look at that. They're like, you have to buy 200 of these before the floor goes up. And it's like, no, you actually have delta. So every time you buy one, it goes up, like a percent, whatever the delta is. And it kind of moves with the floor. But collection bids are like the best thing to ever happen. Like if you needed something to sell instantly, right? Like I need the instant liquidity. I usually take a small percent on the hit from the floor price, but I'm all right with it because I get to exit my position. And a lot of other people are like, well, I got it in at a better price. And there's like this inverse relationship between time and liquidity, right? And price. And you guys capitalized on that. You guys literally introduced what I would say is like the closest thing to TradFi into, this Web3 market, which we desperately needed. So kudos to you guys on that. The sniper bot's insane. I love it, especially on new mints. I did mess up on the Bodagos mint. I accidentally added in like a couple traits that I didn't want to add in. I bought way above the floor. I was like, oh, come on, man. Like, I was trying to snipe some hellhounds and stuff like that. I ended up adding in VR goggles and like inked up for some reason. And yeah, so just if you guys are watching this, like make sure your sniper bot's set correctly. That's on you. But it's awesome. I got to snipe Pokemon trainer lilies like so far below like where they were, and they started going at a premium. And how I realized that was a premium trait was through your terminal. Your terminal is amazing. Your terminal is probably one of my favorite features, especially for new mints or anything with velocity. If Mad Lad starts pumping and you start seeing like 40,000 Solana volume, you're like, oh shit, I need to get into the terminal and see like, is there a certain trait that's selling? We had a sweep on Bodago hoodies. You get to see all this in the terminal. So how did you guys come up with this? And if you guys are curious and you want to follow along, you go into the top right of sniper.xyz. You do have a little drop down menu in the tools, and you can actually hit terminal. When you go into terminal, you can select the collection you want. You see everything. I mean, we're talking listings, sales, floor distribution, listed count, and the trades. You can actually see what outliers there are, and you can kind of hover over it and be like, what's selling? Okay, well, there's a Pepe Frog that sold. There's a Superman X-Ray that sold on Bodagos, and a hoodie, right? Those are premium traits. Maybe I should start putting my sniper bot there. How did you guys come up with this? This is like literally the best thing that happened to me since I found out about SolSniper.
Definitely. Can you guys see my screen, by the way? I tried to see if I could share a screen, but I'm not sure if you guys can.
Yeah, let's go ahead and bring it on stage. Yep.
Cool. So Terminal, it was really kind of like inspired by a lot of other products in the market. So there were two products that it was inspired by, Scalp Empire as well as NFT Soloist, right? And we started getting a lot of users that like requested that we have kind of this more friendly interface. I think our traditional like trading terminal, which is the trading view chart, this was something that I think scared a lot of users where like they said, okay, like, we're a little bit like, we want to trade NFTs, we want it to be fun, but this is like a little bit too intimidating for me. I like how, NFT Soloist and Scalp Empire have these like ladders listed out, and I want to trade off of these ladders. So you can still do that off of our regular experience. But that being said, the terminal is like specifically designed for more of that kind of high volume and like less technical, less analytical experience. And so the users I have to credit for this is like really one of the biggest ones that helped us with this experience was actually Fibo. He gave us tons and tons of feedback in terms of like, I think it should do this, and I think it should do that. And it's one of those things where like, I think within our firm, like we're very focused on the traders and what they're interested in and what they want. And so if you guys ever are using our product and like have anything for us in terms of how we could improve or like in terms of what you want to see, just let me know, DM me, jump in our Discord and kind of leave us some requests. That's really where Terminal came from. It was one of those things where, we didn't really we weren't trying to necessarily like copy paste any products or anything like that, but it was one thing that our users really, really wanted. And we said, okay, like we have to give this to you. And then in terms of like all the different things you're able to do, right? So you're actually able to kind of have the same experience in terms of like buying, selling, using the sniper bot all directly from the terminal as well, checking out the watch list, things like that. So that's really kind of like what inspired the terminal product. And also like kind of the different features. I think this quarter we're going to be definitely giving Terminal a upgrade as well. So you guys will be hopefully getting an even better experience of this product.
And it's amazing. And I think it's going to be like really when we bring people up here, guys, it's mainly people that are providing value back to the ecosystem. Like you said, this is a completely free tool that you don't have to pay to use. Now, with your Sniper bot, if you aren't like listed, so if you weren't like an OG member or part of a few handful of partner collections that get Sniper bot for free, what happens? Like, you know, if you're not listed or anything, what's the fee like when you're using your Sniper bot?
Right. So I think this is where like things are like kind of like different in terms of like where we are today and where we want to go. So I'd love to talk more about the marketplace that we've built. And really what inspired our current marketplace is actually the Sniper bot and the idea of limit orders. Like that's always been kind of the direction that we've been iterating in. And I think a couple things that like changed, right, in terms of the landscape was like the reason why Sniper bot had to always be a bot, right, where we would basically generate a wallet for you in the background and programmatically use that wallet to execute trades, was because for a very long time, Magic Eden, which is like the top marketplace or whatever, their like the access to actually buy their listings, and even today, some of that access is still gated, but that was always gated by an API, and so you couldn't fully do it on chain. So had like that not been an issue that we had to technically solve, we probably would have actually launched a fully on-chain order book like 6 to 9 months ago. But then it was only recently, right, that they decided to start opening things up. So credit to them where it's due. And what we're kind of doing is we're taking the same inspiration in terms of how you experience the Sniper bot, which is basically putting in buys at desired targets, right? So you buy at this trait, you buy at this price, you buy at this rarity, and then basically taking that into a fully on-chain protocol. So our protocol, like the underlying smart contract for the marketplace, isn't another fork of Auction House, or it isn't another fork of some like AMM smart contract. It's actually fully from scratch, and it's kind of designed with the inspiration that, hey, we want a fully on-chain order book where it's buy and sell orders, right? So if you think about it, a listing is actually kind of just a limit sell, and a snipe is actually just a limit buy or a bid, right? And so that's actually kind of the design of it. And so what we'll actually be doing is we'll be deprecating the Sniper bot once our marketplace and the bidding functionality hits like full feature parity. So right now, right, so like if you're using the Sniper bot and you simply want to say, okay, I want to snipe a Bodago for 7 sol, and then you fund and place the snipe, right? That's no different actually than simply going to trading Bodagos. 1 second, I don't know why my page isn't loading. But basically it's the exact same thing as coming here and then placing a bid for Bodagos at 1 and like 7 sol basically. So it's the exact same experience where any listing off of any marketplace that hits this target, so at 7 sol or below, will automatically get scooped up by the Sniper bot, and in this case, it's not a bot, it's actually a fully on-chain protocol. And then, right now, all it's missing is like traits and rarities. And then I think we'll be pretty aggressively trying to get those features this quarter. And then we should be at full parity. And I think in terms of the fees that you mentioned, so it'll actually be cheaper in fees, because right now the Sniper bot, it actually places a fee on top of the marketplace execution. So current marketplace executions are about 1.5%, right? And then we take like a 0.69% fee on top of it. But once because it's using our protocol, right? So like for completely native listings, our fee actually doesn't run higher than 1%. And so that way, like by using this protocol, you're saving, that like you're basically like saving like half of that fee. And then the other cool thing about our protocol is that we actually return half of the fees to makers. So let's say you make a bid here and it doesn't immediately execute. So if it immediately executes, you're a taker, right? And I'm sorry, you're paying the fee. But if it doesn't immediately execute, or you can use this option called post, which forces that your bid goes into the order book. What this means is that when this trade gets executed, you actually make money. You actually get this additional rebate where I think, let's see, what's the rebate?
What is it? It's like 0.25 or 0.4, depending
Yeah.
on what marketplace it's being executed on, right?
So our rebate is actually 0.5. So it's actually so we have the highest rebate as well. So basically by doing this, right, so the difference is our protocol, exactly the same as SniperBot, except now we don't even take fees from you, you make fees. And then what's really cool as well is because, as you mentioned, we're doing this airdrop contest, we actually have way more rewards than we have in terms of participants. So if you literally just go and like make bids and listings, like you have like a 30% chance or something crazy of like getting airdropped a Bodago, a bad pill, or also today we secured an airdrop for West 57th as well. So those are the different collections that we're airdropping to.
Oh man, I mean, and these are NFTs that literally go directly into your wallet just for using Sniper, you know. So I was lucky enough to earn a Bodago, yay me! But
rank 4, right? Rank 4 or rank 3?
Yeah, I'm ranked 4. I don't know if I'll get to rank 3. Those MFers are like clearly ahead of me. I just need to maintain 4. That's my goal.
Everyone in the top 10 has received an airdrop. Just
that's perfect. Yeah. Perfect. That's beautiful. And like I said, it's literally NFTs just for doing something you are already going to do. So, you know, I think a lot of people need to realize that this is a different protocol. Like CLOBs are what we expect in like traditional markets and crypto markets. It's what we see in like centralized exchanges and stuff. So basically what you're doing is making it much more liquid in what I would view a better way than AMMs. That's just me personally. And I know like some people will say AMMs more. I like this version better. The only thing I would say is like, since we're so fragmented on marketplaces, you know, we got Tensor, Magic Eden, and now Sniper with your CLOB. Is there any way that when you post a bid, does it get syndicated to the other like liquidity pool or the collection bid pools?
Right.
To Magic Eden?
Yeah, great question. And I think a couple things we're doing to kind of solve that. So like first off, like I think one thing we did notice is the liquidity was fragmented. And even before Sniper, we felt that it was very fragmented, right? We had like this you know, like one firm with like, you know, 50%, another firm with like 40%, another firm with like 10-20%, and another firm, like 3 other firms with like 1 to 5%, right? And what we felt was that like we wanted to actually build that like shared liquidity layer that everybody dreams about. And so what's really cool is actually basically in the last 2 weeks we've done about like 5,000 SOL of volume, right? Half of that volume that we've done has actually gone to the other protocols. So when you place a bid with us, it's actually executing against all of the other marketplaces as well. And what we're also doing as well, because like it's great that it automatically executes, but what you're specifically asking for is I would love for it to be visible on the other marketplaces. Yes. So that is something that we're in talks with. But beyond that, like we are working on some mechanisms to potentially spoof those bids as well, such that those bids will still be visible and other people can actually accept into it. So there's a lot of things, a lot of moving pieces we have going on right now, but that is definitely something that we hear loud and clear. And like at the end of the day, what our protocol stands for isn't going to be about hoarding liquidity from everyone else, like what everyone else has already done. It's really going to be about sharing the liquidity and like making things a lot more interconnected. And you can see that kind of in the current results that we have in the last like 2 weeks.
Absolutely. Dora, I know you got a question. Yeah, it's on your lips. What you got?
I got a couple questions. First question is, Max, I understand, like, I love the platform, but in how your platform is different from Magic Eden and Tensor. But for our audience who might be struggling with the concept of AMMs or CLOBs, could you explain to them what differentiates Sniper from from Magic Eden and Tensor?
Oh, definitely. Ton of things, right? So I would say like a couple like key differentiators already, like we aggregate a lot more. So very simply put, you'll get better prices on Sniper. I think we're the only firm that aggregates everyone else's bids, and we're also the only firm that aggregates all of the listings as well. So if you if I can maybe share my screen again, I can kind of show this off a little bit, but you can see that like we're aggregating tons of different listings. So a lot of these listings include Tensor, our own, Magic Eden, HadeSwap, Elixir. And then in terms of bids, right, I don't think any of the other firms are aggregating each other's bids as well. So you can kind of see it there. Like we have like the best aggregation. The other thing you'll notice as well is that in terms of like pure read and write speed, we're actually the fastest. I think there was like a Salami Mommy video a few months ago. And it's one of those things where, we're pretty confident that you'll have like a much smoother and faster experience using the product. And then I think kind of like one of the biggest differentiators we have is like in terms of just like the pure data that we put in your fingertips, you're able to see way more about like your own portfolio and how like your portfolio is performing, as well as like how the market is performing compared to like kind of other products. So it's really kind of gives you everything you need as a trader at your fingertips. Not pretty, but it's one of those things where it basically is kind of like, those are kind of our main differentiators: better prices, faster experience, and also better data. In terms of the difference between kind of like CLOBs and AMMs, and this is like kind of a hot take, I guess, but like I genuinely think like most users like don't need to understand AMMs. Like they don't even really need to understand what they are. I think AMMs are good for some people. And I'm not going to necessarily get into those use cases, but let's say you're new to NFTs. You don't really like, I don't really think you need to truly understand what it is. You just have to understand that, there's listings as well. And actually we're the first ones to also innovate in the sense of how AMMs are displayed. So before, everyone would just brick the floor with the same price, and then users would go look and they'd be like, oh no, there's 100 listings at this floor, right? So we were the first firm to actually kind of collapse all of these pools into one card. So you can come here and like basically the indicator that it's an AMM is this kind of expand, right? And so when you click into it, what it does is it jumps the other listing to the next price rather than bricking it all. And then let's say you really want to buy at 9.5, or in this case, 9.25, you can press the expand button to view all of the ones that you could currently buy at this price. So in terms of like regular users, don't worry about AMMs. It's just a pool. Imagine a bunch of NFTs swimming in a pool together, and that's the price. And then you can just kind of pick which one you want to buy. And we display those very elegantly here. And then in terms of the CLOB, right, all you have to understand is that it's the same as a bid. It's the idea that, hey, today the price for a Bodago is 9 SOL. I'm not ready to buy at 9 SOL. I want to buy at 7 SOL or 8 SOL or 5 SOL. You can very simply place a bid here, and then that bid we can kind of go over together. You create a bid with us. It goes through. How do you guys feel about the Phantom remake?
I like it.
I'm glad that you brought it up because I don't care for the logo at all.
I love the logo. It wakes up when you go to put your password in.
Well, I think that's cool. Like you could have done that with the old logo too, but
that's also true.
Yeah, I just took off your screen, Max. You're able to write in your password and stuff. So
is that why you took it? I thought we were done with the demo.
Yeah. No. I was just making sure like nobody saw at least the length of your password or anything like that. So
I really appreciate that. It's okay, but basically the same experience. You come here, press bid, create bid, and then I actually didn't put in my password because I thought we were done. But basically, you come here and then it'll kind of give you a little tick mark to show that your bid went through. And then any kind of listing, you can come back the next day and see, oh, wow, now it automatically bought it for me. So like the way to think about it is it's just an auto buy feature. It's the same idea of like placing a limit buy for a stock or for a crypto and being able to get it at that desired price, not the current price of the market right now.
Right. Exactly. Okay. So a couple questions for you, because as somebody who uses Sniper extensively, just some observations and maybe some clarification points for anybody listening or watching or anything like that is I list with Sniper, right? So if I list with Sniper, which you can do now, if anybody doesn't know, you can do that with the CLOB protocol that they have built with Sniper. So I go to list. What happens is right now, and I'm sure you guys well aware of this, but when I list, that listing is only visible in Sniper. It's not visible like if I go over to Tensor or Magic Eden or anything, right? It's not visible there. But what it does is if the collection bid moves up there, basically it executes against that. Is that correct?
Exactly. That's exactly correct. So it's a limit sell where like you can basically sell it for a desired price, and then any bid that meets that price will automatically execute as well. And something we're also we're probably going to ship the alpha in the next couple of days is that it will also execute cross market as well. So if a Magic Eden bid hit that price, or a Tensor bid hit that price, and or a Hades swap bid hit that price, boom, it's out there, and then you get your money. And I think the core idea is like we want to make the market a lot more efficient. We see kind of all of these aggregated or like disaggregated protocols, and we want to kind of bring it together and share that liquidity, so that way these marketplaces can all interact with each other. I think there's still the outstanding question of like, are those listings going to be visible? And it's kind of the same answer I had with the bids, is like that's something that we have in progress. We're going to make it happen, and I'm really excited for when that does happen, because I know that'll really like kind of address basically all the different points. Because I think right now with kind of the automated execution, I think that really helps in terms of like letting traders like basically fill as fast as possible, sometimes even faster than if those listings or if those bids were visible, but definitely kind of like addressing it all, and having like no other reason to like go do anything else. That's on the top of my agenda.
Absolutely. So like in its current state right now, because I know you guys are working on this, you guys aren't dumb. That's why you guys are gigabrains and always ahead of the curve, in my opinion. But when it comes to this, like, for instance, I have a very rare doggo, right? Like me listing him at 69.69 SOL because, I'm very DGEM like that. It's not going to do anything for me really, in essence, unless people are shopping on Sniper right now.
Right.
Eventually what's going to happen is those listings will hopefully be syndicated across all, all the other fragmented marketplaces that we're seeing.
Definitely.
And then there's literally no reason for me to personally list anywhere else, because you're optimizing liquidity, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's what I'm most excited for, because right now, the best way to use Sniper for listing is really against like your floors, right? Like you're listing for the floor, and I don't have to worry about it, because if collection bids go over where I'm listed at, you automatically execute it, right? And so I think that's like the exciting part, is I don't have to stare at my charts all the time.
Exactly.
The collection bid's already hitting it, and you guys aggregate collection bids. We're executing
that's
against
awesome,
that. I can go out and go to the beach or whatever I want to do. The problem is, I'm a collector and I do have some rares, and I'm king mid rare himself. And so
I have a lot of those too.
Yeah, it's especially with the doggos. I don't know. I love the collection itself. But once you guys start implementing the trait sniper and the rarity sniper like within the CLOB protocol, I think that's where everything just starts, executing at a really fine level. And then obviously syndicating the listings across the marketplaces. That's what I get excited for. Like, I'm like, yes, I see the writing on the wall. Let's go. This is why I'm doing it now, so I can get familiar with it and, be ahead of the curve. And this is why we do this.
Definitely. And we really appreciate you listing on our protocol. And then the other thing I do want to mention, right, is like, let's say you want to just like list and like, it's not a floor, and so you don't expect it to be picked up. You can, like, a couple options we have for you is like, you can actually use our website, so sniper.xyz, and you can actually list on any marketplace. You can delist on any marketplace. So you can actually list on Magic Eden, list on Tensor, list on Hyperspace as well. So like, we're very kind of like, marketplace agnostic. Like, we're not going to say, hey, you have to be 100% loyal to us or some shit like that. We're not like that crazy ex-girlfriend. We think about it more as like, like list on whatever's going to get you the best deal. We really want to support traders. And then I think the other point is that the more listings you have, we'll still give you points for those listings, even if they don't sell. So we'll definitely give you those points, and like you have a better chance of winning an airdrop. So that's also some incentive to kind of list on us and kind of help us grow our protocol together.
Absolutely. It's incentivizing to critical mass is what I call it. And, trying to tackle it that way versus fighting for a smaller slice of pie. So I think this is always the best way to grow, a platform. It's why I thought Tensor was so brilliant in their strategy, is because they were just like you guys, like going for aggregation. And they're like, we're not trying to fragment liquidity as much. And then you guys, to me, again, are doing it at a protocol level. And I think that's why I'm like, that's what separates it. That's why this is exciting, in my opinion. So yeah, no, seriously, I appreciate it. I'm sure, Dor, do you have any questions or comments or concerns or anything like that?
I do have a question. It's not directly related to the protocol, but a lot of people continue to use Magic Eden because of its simplicity. So are you going to incorporate some way to make it a little bit more accessible to traders who might not be, as advanced? Or are you going to come out with some type of content to try to help ease the barrier of entry into using your CLOB?
Definitely. I'd love to share my screen.
Gotcha.
And then, so we have this collector mode. So it's very, very simple. You want to see the big, pretty JPEGs, and that's all you care about. That's it. Yeah. We got you. So this toggles just right down here, whether you want to collect or you want to trade. And then you can kind of just like, take your time, browse which doggo you like the best. I have a listing here. I think this one looks quite good. And I think it's one of those things where we definitely, we care a lot about the consumer experience. I think it's one of those things where I would say we have, a very, very strong UX, and we're going to continue to iterate on that to make it even more simple, more clean, and kind of start building also some like very collector specific features that they can really enjoy. So I think it's something that we definitely want to target as well. Right now, the default is still trader mode. So if you go to Sniper, right, the default is with the chart, with the live feed, with the order book. So it may be a little bit scary, but something that, we definitely want to like prioritize is like perhaps also like kind of simplifying the experience, just so when you land, you get kind of the nice clean interface and not so much the kind of scary chart. We really find that's kind of one of the big differences, is that like they get scared by it, and we totally understand. And we're working on making it even cleaner for you guys.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Max.
No, and I think that's another, so where we're at in the market is like the only people who are still left are like, I would say it's skewed more towards the pro traders or the traders in general. Like, we've been here for a while. We understand what order books are and what trading view looks like and everything in between. I think it'd be really interesting is like when we start seeing a massive ramp up in new wallets, because it will happen, like Sol's is built for it, especially with Fire Dancer. Like, it's pretty much here. I think it's imminent. Do we know if it's been? I don't think it's been released yet, but I see so much talk about Jump. They're here, like they're ready to start launching it, which is super exciting. But once that happens, I think that's when we see a storm of liquidity come in for Solana. That's when I think it may be useful, and it's a book I used to like preach. Is it's called Nudge by Richard Thaler, and basically, it's like the simple little things where, when we start seeing new liquidity come into the market, maybe it's beneficial for you guys to switch it to where their collector mode is actually the default, because then we're nudging it. Like the pro traders are always going to be like, what happened to my charts? But they'll be the ones who also
look to find the
charts. They will know where to find it.
While the new person has just come in and be like, I'm not using this.
I'm scared.
I think that's like right now, this is totally fine. I would much rather default to that, or, even have a selection, based off wallet, because you guys have done that. You guys have been doing that for forever. Is like, hey, based on your wallet, here's your preferences and stuff. Being able to set that. But I think there will come a point in time. I don't think it's right now. I think trading view, the pro trader view is definitely the way to go. But when we start seeing new liquidity come in, we start seeing buyers ramp up to like 10,000 plus. That's probably when we're like, okay, we might want to nudge that over into collector default and, start doing something like that. But right now, look, it's not a newbie time. I think it should be a newbie time. Like, this is the best. Sol's $20. It's not 200 plus bucks, but, they aren't going to come in until they start seeing everything, gigasend. They're like, oh, I can make money doing this. And all that good stuff.
You can make a bunch of money in the bear market too. Like,
I mean, this is what I'm saying is like, I just love the layout of SolSniper or Sniper now. And just looking at over everything, the fact that I can also chart against USD is incredibly valuable to me as well.
Mhm.
You know, a lot of people don't look at USD charts as much as they should, in my opinion, but yeah, you can actually glean a lot more info that way as well. All you have to do is go into that top left corner where you see Sol and actually just drop it down to USD. But I don't know, like this to me, it just feels like the most up-to-date syndicated in the protocol level 2 is just where you guys are going. So hats off to you guys. I know you guys have been building this for like the longest time, longest time. So you guys actually executing on it and then, you know, knowing what you need to do as far as your checklist goes is just really impressive for your guys' foresight, because you guys have always been ahead of the market.
Yeah, I think for us, like we've always been focused on innovating really hard. I think that's kind of like, you know, the engineering in our team. Like our team is mostly only engineers. I think only Mommy is a full-time non-engineer, but everyone else is an engineer. And like I think for us, like that's kind of the most important thing is like, how can we innovate harder? How can we make it better? How can we make the market more efficient and like make kind of the, like, it's not about, like, the way I think about it is like, you know, AMMs are very much a copy of like what was existing on like Ethereum. And it's not about copying what, you know, exists like somewhere else where, you know, the technology is, you know, they have a ton of TVL, but it's just sitting there. It's not doing anything versus kind of what we want to accomplish. We think is unique to Solana. It's going to unique to, you know, a fast chain like Solana. And it's unique to kind of the traders that are on Solana, where we think that we can really make things better in a big way. That's not just like a 1.5x experience where we just made the UI a little bit prettier. We really think that kind of taking things to the protocol level, we can really grow things 10 to 100x.
Absolutely. No, and I think you guys will too. And like, this is what I think we're always trying to build towards, especially, you know, after hearing Jump talk about, you know, their theorization on, you know, time and price and everything like that. I think this protocol level of liquidity is exactly what we need in this market, that we can just, everything's much more automated. Like this is a place that is built to be automated. And for the people who still want to collect, like you do that, you still aggregate everything, you show what listings are and everything like that. So you're appealing to both sides. And I think that's exactly what we need in this market. That's why I always use
it doesn't even really change anything for collectors, right? Because a lot of it is just happening at the protocol level. And I think if anything, it makes the life of collectors even better, because now it's not about these illiquid JPEGs. Now you can just get out of your position everywhere. So I think it's one of those things where we're really excited about the future of NFTs. We're here to stay on Solana. I know we dropped Sol from the name, and a lot of people think we're going multi-chain, but you know, we're very bullish. I'm wearing a Solana shirt today. And so, you know, we're here to stay. We're here to make things better.
Yeah, absolutely. Dude, Max, Joe, I know you're always quiet in the interviews, mainly because it just sitting back in the cut and we can't see his face. So I don't know if there's like a question on the tip of his tongue, but Joe, you got anything for us? Do you have any questions, comments, concerns?
No, all I got to give is some flowers, man. You guys have, you know, done it out of the mud for your, you know, for the community and basically for like the ethos of like what self-sovereignty is. It's basically like having the best tools for you to maximize your assets that you're holding. And for that, it's just really cool on a human level. And then from like a trader standpoint, I've made a lot of money being able to actually trade against different pairs on my assets, like my DGODs with USD value. And I'm very much, that's how I trade. I like to go from asset to asset and trade between pairs. So just being able to have that, you know, availability there is amazing. And to see you guys like continuing to basically adapt and perform different things that are needed with ongoing product is pretty awesome too. So yeah, I've never had the pleasure to meet you, Maz. So yeah, man, this is awesome. And big ups to you guys. I love your product and I use it daily. I'm a featured trader on there because I do use it daily and I have forever. So just wanted to throw some flowers your way, homie.
Definitely. And we should connect after this. I really appreciate you guys having us on. I think you guys are all featured traders on the homepage. So if you'd like to be a featured trader on our homepage, hit us up. We love the traders. That's what we're here for. That's how we started. And we're going to keep building the best products for traders. That's really how it's going to go.
Yeah, absolutely. I know.
Sol is ripping, guys. Sol is ripping. Sol is ripping, baby. Pop to an order block and let's go.
I need to pull some bids then. Anyways, yeah, no. So, okay. The only thing I get sad about with the feature trader is I still miss my punk helm from time to time, and it's still on there. And I'm like, man, those were good times. But I love my spectral gorilla, Mr. Sheriff himself. Dude, thank you so much, Max. The last thing before we sign off, and Max, we'll stay around offline once we go off. But two things for the market that I didn't cover. One is slime. So if you guys don't know, Scum is having basically he's doing a different mechanism. What he's doing is you can buy racks. So if you go to slimes.xyz, scroll down, you can actually buy, basically it's an open edition. And what he's using this as is a raffle ticket. And after the raffle, you can actually use them for merch with his stuff. Now, this stuff is sick too. This stuff looks like super high quality merch. I really want that corduroy hat. I'll share my screen real quick just so everybody can see. But yeah, this stuff is sick, dude. I'm like I'm a big fan of. Well, man, let me go ahead and share this real quick. You can actually see some of the stuff. So he has a crew neck, skull face tee, culture builder pack, and then the corduroy dad hat. And this stuff, dude, I want the dad hat so bad. I want it. That thing is sick. And all of it says like all in time except for the skull face tee, and then even the culture builder pack is a little bit different. So yeah, that's super interesting. If you guys want in, it's 0.5 SOL per rack, and each one is a raffle ticket, and then you can actually use it as a currency, which I think is super interesting. Just another way we're innovating. And the last thing I want to talk about is Migos. They revealed their art. I think it's super approachable art. I love it. I actually think it's really cute. If you guys haven't seen the trailer, super interesting as well. Like I think it's a really high quality trailer. If you go to the reveal site, you can actually see like a bunch of, I'm going to go ahead and hide this. You can actually see some of the stuff when it loads up. You can select what you want. That it's shared to. We are definitely going to get demonetized if I shared that with sound. That sucks. But nonetheless, you can actually like select what mood you want. And I love the art. I love it. So I think I kind of want to go for Migos, but I'm just scared in this market because we just saw 3 mints, 2 of which are like Bodaga's still doing fine. It's just, it came out the gates hot and then, cooled down from there. Barrels is doing barrel things. I think it's going to be stable. And then bad environment, I just think there's misinformation. So I think Migos is a super interesting play. I'm really curious about it. I think the art's sick. I think it'll be a good PFP for a lot of people, but that about does it for us. Do you guys have any questions, comments on that?
No, Max, thanks for joining us today. And everybody, thanks for tuning in for another episode.
Yeah, dude, appreciate your time, Max. Thank you guys for listening to another episode of RareFUD Radio. We are on every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. We're not on Mondays. No, Mondays are our recovery time. Tuesday, Thursday, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, with episodes uploaded to Apple and Spotify moments after the episode finishes. That about does it for us. We'll see you on the next episode of RareFUD Radio. Have a wonderful